Breaking news. So Judge Michelle Odinet is seeking an unpaid leave of absence. CBS's David Begnaud broke the story last evening, who is also from Lafayette. I'm calling it first. I see a sit down interview with the judge, but I don't want him to do it. I want Gayle King to do it. I want Gayle King to say, Michelle, 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 the same way she did R. Kelly when he was lying. I want Gayle King to do it. I want Gayle King to ask, how many pills does a racist make? Maybe we need to call Roseanne Barr and ask her. Because the judge would have us believe that she took some sort of surgical anesthetic at her home, like she was administered propofol or Versed. That's what she wants us to believe. I think it's a joke. I think it's a complete joke. It's a bold-faced lie. And what's really crazy is that she's decided that she's going to throw her son under the bus. What kind of mother does that to save her own you-know-what? When the lie about the pills didn't work and her having zero recollection of it, she switched it over to, my son's a drug addict, and this event is highlighting that. I didn't see any event that had anything to do with drugs or highlighting any type of abuse. What I saw was a family bonding together. And for the record, they were bragging about taking Mr. Handy down. A nearly 60-year-old, by all accounts, frail man. If I had taken Mr. Handy down, I wouldn't want anybody to know about it. I certainly wouldn't brag about it. I would just, quietly say, yes, I tackled him, and could you please delete it? Because I would be embarrassed. But these folks were very proud of what they did. Very, very proud. Their mom was very, very proud. There's been some statements made about what should happen from the local president of the NAACP, local politicians, city marshals. The governor actually came out and made a statement today stating that hopefully, when she takes this time off, she can reflect and come to the conclusion that she needs to step down. I'm thinking you have the power to make her come to that conclusion. I don't think that is an option that she should be afforded. I think you tell her what it is. I think the Louisiana judiciary tells her what it is. I don't think she gets to decide what's going to happen. Because what she thinks is that I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to go and enjoy my eggnog in peace. I'll let this thing cool down. I'll come back early. 2022, business as usual. But in the meantime, I need you guys to pray for me because this was quite a traumatic experience at my home. And me and my family, we need your prayers. We need your prayers. We need your support. She's reading the room, thinking that she can tell us what to think about this. She can tell us how to feel about this. This is how she's read the room. Because again, she's accustomed to doing what she wants and getting away with it. It's sick. It's sick. But again, it's predictable. Because what do people do? What do white women do when they need help? They try to pull at your sympathy. They try to pull at heartstrings. Don't forget, you guys, my son is a drug addict. He needs help. This is why this has happened from one mother to another. You would hate to see someone, dealing with a situation like that. And so I'm going to remind them of that so they'll feel pity for me. This is what this lady has done. Thrown her son under the bus. I think if he has a drug addiction, it's a private family matter. I think also that you filing that false report is an issue that we need to discuss. Mr. Handy did not have a weapon. He didn't even have a pocket knife. If he did, that's all we would be talking about is a pocket knife and how much of a threat he was. He didn't even have a pocket knife. But let's talk about trauma for a second. She wants to tell us how to feel and what to think. I've had a traumatic experience at my home, and it didn't look the way her traumatic experience looked at her home, and it was a burglary as well. When you experience something that is traumatic, there is fear, there's anxiety, there's so much anxiety behind it that you can't rest at night. I know personally, I didn't even want to stay in my own home. I didn't want to be in my own home. It was a lot. And so when somebody violates your space, the intimacy of your space, you become undone for a little bit. I invite you to go back and look at that video and you tell me if there was any type of trauma being experienced in that moment. When there's trauma, there's tears, there's a lot going on. Perhaps someone is, maybe trying to console you. Maybe somebody is handing you a tissue if you're crying. And immediately your mind goes to, how can we prevent this from happening again? Do we need more cameras here? Do we need more locks on the doors? What do we need? You go into prevention mode. I saw these people having a powwow moment. And I just think that for her filing that false report stating that Mr. Handy was armed, that there should be some consequences for that. Because if someone comes before her court and files a false report, there's some consequences for it. So what's going to happen to her? She's not above the law. The law needs to come down on her the same way it comes down on Mr. Handy. So Louisiana, you have the power to make this right, to remove this lady. You do. And you do. And you shouldn't take all year to do it. You shouldn't take all year to do it. I saw them having a great time. And for the record, if I would have tackled a nearly 60-year-old man, I wouldn't have told nobody, okay? I wouldn't have told anybody. I would have been embarrassed that I had done that. What I saw was her sons bragging like they had gotten into like a brawl with Mike Tyson, and like they had beat the crap out of Mike Tyson. And, they had taken Mike's belt and they're modeling it, they're wearing it, and, they're gone with it. It's sick. It's really sick. But they were acting like they had really taken somebody down. And you can see that Mr. Handy is clearly, an elderly gentleman. He's clearly, frail, in my opinion. And he's not somebody that I would brag about taking down. Like they were acting like they were in a WWE fight of their life or something. It was really weird. It was really odd. But mom wants to go back home and enjoy some eggnog. That's what she wants to do. And just hope things will blow over and we'll forget about it. And in the meantime, put her on the prayer list because she needs prayer and comfort, and she needs the community to help her get through this moment. And she doesn't need any of that. She needs to be removed. All of her cases need to be reviewed. That's what needs to happen with Judge Odinet. and as soon as possible. Because anybody that can tell lies on the spot like that and tell bold-faced lies like that and call black people what she called us, and added that we're roaches, should not be presiding over anything. This lady should not be presiding over anything. She can't be trusted with making any decisions. Because again, she just might take a sedative and become a racist. She just might take a Benadryl and become a racist overnight. It's laughable. If you ask me, it's just laughable. And to think that she would give a description of what happened as traumatic when she knows it wasn't traumatic at all. It's pretty sick. I guess she wants us to, while we're praying for her and comforting her, and she's hoping that her son is providing cover to save her job. I guess she wants us to also, buy her a can of Raid for us roaches, because that's what they said we were. We were roaches, and she did not object to it at all when her kids said it. She didn't object. But again, welcome to Louisiana. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. Welcome to life. There are many, many more racist judges that are sitting, making decisions, sentencing, folks to life. We have child molesters in this state that, are at home. And that was, a judge presided over that. I'm thinking of a case in particular. Maybe I'll talk about that at some other time, but we have child molesters sitting at home in this state. So, this lady didn't have any sort of impairment at all. That was no impairment. She was very lucid. She was very, very articulate in her feelings. So yeah, she's thinking that she's reading the room as though she can just go have a great vacation. It's, nearly Christmas, and she's just going to go and enjoy her holidays, maybe take a vacation, maybe fly out to New York, and, while she's possibly, doing an interview with CBS News or something, maybe she can just, enjoy, maybe go and do a little shopping and just have a great time. I'm sure she's going to get some type of crisis manager to craft something, really, nice and concise, and, throw those lies on us, and, just come on back down to Louisiana and enjoy her vacation. But we're not having it. I'll be watching this one. Yes, that's for sure. And I'll be watching to see what happens for her. Stating that he was armed. He shouldn't have been on their property, but she shouldn't lie. She shouldn't lie. And I don't think that you play games with, trauma. Don't say you experienced a traumatic event when you know that you didn't. Because real trauma, any level of real trauma, does not look like that. Go back and look at that clip of her and her family watching that surveillance video. That is not what trauma looks like at all. I remember when, I've had several burglaries at the house, but one in particular was on Christmas Eve one year. And It was crazy. But whenever you're like violated in your personal space like that, if it's your house, if it's your car, whatever it is, that is intimate to you, the intimacy of something that's personal to you, it's tough. It's tough. I was pissed, to be honest with you. I was pissed, and I was crying. They were hugging me, and as I stated before, if you're experiencing some type of trauma, sometimes somebody will put a hand on your shoulder. They're going to hug you. If you're crying, they're going to provide tissue for you. They're going to provide you with some, assuring and comforting words, what have you. And, I was pissed. I felt, and this is not what happened, but I felt like somebody had, walked into my house and went into my, my drawer and, just decided they were going to take a pair of my panties. And on the way out, they brushed their teeth with my toothbrush. That's how it felt. So, they need to come down on this lady for lying about a traumatic experience when she knows Mr. Handy didn't even have a pocket knife and they were just enjoying themselves. They need to come down hard on her for that. You have to teach somebody like this a lesson. You have to teach them a lesson. Louisiana, you can do that. You're capable of doing that. There's a lot of corruption in this state, but we know you can do it. Governor Edwards, you can do it. The Louisiana Judiciary, you can do it. Just get to it. Don't take too much time. This is my second video about this, and this is a new YouTube channel, 90 days or so, and I have sporadically been putting a few videos out while I'm trying to learn the mechanics of how everything works on YouTube. And I don't want to make any more videos about this lady. I'm ready to move on to something else, but if you do not remove her, maybe there's a third or fourth video coming. So you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Good night.